All right, welcome to the Tuesday Talks. My name is Kingsley.
And I'm Jordan.
And I'm Jacob.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We are unpacking a little bit more about Pastor Mark's message on legacy and honor. Hey guys, what did you think of the message yesterday? What stuck out to you?
I was appreciative that we care to look back. Like Pastor Mark pointed out, a culture that's very self-focused. Few people look at the people around them, let alone looking back. And I think it's super critical for helping keep us humble to understand where we've come from. And that helps us as we press forward. That was what stood out to me, is like, oh, other people who like looking back too. I'm not the only history goof.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Jacob?
I think I liked how Pastor Mark widened it, not to just history buffs, but to everyone. This is something that we are called to do, to honor the past and to use it to glorify God in the future.
That's great. Yeah, I like how you bring out what Pastor Mark was saying about honoring what's come before. So it's a huge focus here. So thinking about how can we actually apply that to our lives? How can we honor those who have gone before? Like thinking of the legacy span of our grandparents, and Pastor Mark highlighted a past pastor who started Chapel Hill. How can we actually do that in our lives?
I think one big one for me is being the dad of 4 and a husband and full-time worker. It's very easy for me to just get caught up in what I need to do next, and part of honoring is just intentionally setting aside the time to then go specifically name those things. And just like this past Memorial Day, not important that you do any specific thing to honor the fallen in the past, but just taking that day to rest and enjoy what they've earned for us is huge. Just setting that time aside. So I think making time is huge, and then what you do after that, very different.
Yeah. As a college student, I find that setting aside time is also very difficult. I think that's something our culture has really run away from, is holding back time for things that are maybe not as pressing, but are important in the long run. And we definitely need to spend more time thinking about what has happened in our lives and what has happened in the lives of people who are gone now, and the generations that we come from, and how they can teach us.
Absolutely. I would agree with both of you guys. Just taking time, being intentional, whether it's celebrating and remembering those in our past. That's why we all kind of collectively have identified that Memorial Day is something that's really special to us. As the men of the house, as men of God, we really enjoy being able to honor those who have come before us. There's something so special about honoring those who have gone before us, instead of, like what Pastor Mark shared on, was passing on and just moving right past it and forgetting those names kind of dissolving. We want to uphold their integrity. We want to uphold and honor them. So moving into the next part, what do you guys think about how can we live a life of legacy in our daily life, in our weekly life? How can we be men in our families and in our extended families? How can we be men of God that encourage and inspire legacy?
I think one thing, I hadn't thought about it till just now, even having heard the message already, but living life in light of eternity can be powerful, because you live differently with eternity in mind. And I think that will naturally flow into how you live today in a way that does leave legacy, because you're thinking of a future that's everlasting in a way, and you're going to leave things behind you that are lasting as well. If I'm not looking forward to eternity, I'm just looking to the next day, I'm not going to be leaving much behind me either. So just having that over the horizon look can be helpful. I don't have any particular ways that trickles into your life, but conceptually, I think that's important for me.
That's great. Thank you for sharing that.
Going off of that, maybe an application would be setting goals for your life in larger increments than just what's tomorrow. Maybe think about what's in a year from now, what's in a couple of years from now. How can I progress my life towards what God has me in the long term?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think one thing on the real tactical personal level, as a father, I am continually made aware of aspects of my legacy that I have received from my family that I want to pass on, as well as things I do not. So part of honoring legacy, I think, is recognizing those things have been passed on to us through generations that are not worth passing. My wife and I took 2 days off last year without the kids, and we went and we wrote out, took a lot of time in prayer to think about it, but we wrote out a family vision that we felt God had called us to. And the vision was high enough level that none of the elements within it could really be measured or would look a certain way. Like feeling called to love others through hospitality. Clearly hospitality can mean a whole lot, a whole host of things. So then we wrote a vision after that kind of dug a little deeper into how that vision could be played out for the season we're in now. The vision never changes, the mission does. And we found that to be extremely helpful, because as we go to make decisions for the family, whether short-term or long-term, having that vision and mission in mind, we have intentionality with what we're doing, and that's naturally going to leave an intentional legacy behind, as opposed to just reacting to whatever comes. And so we found that to be super helpful. So I love what you said about goals, and that's just one way we kind of took goals and made it work for us.
That's a great application.
Yeah, being able to list out those goals, what a great way. Just thinking about more ways to reflect. My wife and I, we've sat down with both sets of our parents and talked about their life, the decisions they've made. We've taken lessons from each of their lives. And earlier, Jordan, you were talking about picking some of the things you want to repeat, some of the best parts of what our parents have done, some of the great examples we've seen, and then also calling out some things you might want to change. And I think involving my parents, if you're able to, your parents, if you're able to do that, it was incredibly honoring just to be able to sit down and learn from them, their wealth of wisdom. And I don't know when it changes. What do you guys say? It changes somewhere, I would say, a humbling experience in your life, maybe around 18, 20, you finally grow out of the mom and dad are lame. You finally figure out that mom and dad are
pretty
incredible.
smart.
They're pretty smart. They know things. Yeah, Jacob, how about for you?
Yeah, it happened pretty recently since I'm so young, but it comes at the age when you move out the house. You really get to see, maybe I'm not as good as managing my life as I thought I might be, because I don't have parents to guide you anymore. But really taking time to pray and think through what God would have for you, for your life. That's what it takes to get you going on the right track, instead of just languishing as a mangy teenager.
What a phrase. Languishing as a mangy teenager.
It's a Rachel Toone quote.
Nice. Good shout out there at Tuesday Talks, or Pastor Rachel Toone. That's awesome. Hey guys, so to end it up, final thoughts on living a legacy, on honoring those who have gone before us, and just kind of the series that we're in, that Pastor Mark and our pastors have been taking us through. Any kind of final thoughts on the series, or any other final takeaways?
I'm good.
Just keep God involved. That's the biggest thing. As long as you're pursuing what He has for your life, you're on the right track.
Absolutely. Yeah, I would echo that and say, keep your eyes fixed on Jesus. Put God number one. Pray with your spouse if you can. Just does such incredible things for your marriage, for your life. Just to be in communication with God, be talking to Him. Ultimately, we all want to live and follow in the footsteps of our Savior. So He's the ultimate legacy to live up to live a lifestyle after. So thank you both for joining me today. And thank you so much for joining us in the Tuesday Talks. Please like, comment, or subscribe to our channel. And thank you so much for watching this today. We'll see you next week.
And then pass that on. Speaking of legacy.
I was hoping she would do that during this filming. Dads out there, this is what happens, whether you cut this in or not. We love our kids, and they're our legacy. Cut.